Are we going live? We're going live. All right. Hey, happy Friday, Sue. Welcome to another installment of Get a Clue in 52 for speakers with my friend and co-author, Sue Mathieson, from all the way down under in Melbourne, Australia. And it's Friday for me, but Saturday for you, yeah?
Correct.
How was your week? You know, lots going on in between. You know, there was a day after Thanksgiving last week, and the holidays are upon us here. So people have kind of like holiday-itis, one foot out the door, kind of ready for their holiday break. What's it like in your side of the world?
Well, a little bit similar. I'm noticing that people are certainly ready to have their holiday break and switch off for a little bit. And yeah, it's interesting because I think depending on your mindset, it's like, oh, do I take a complete break, or is this an opportunity to focus on some other stuff that I haven't necessarily had time for? So yeah, some interesting perspectives.
Yeah, you know, this is a time of the year where I'm double-minded like that completely. Like, I'm ready for the break. I'm ready to finish grading papers, wrap up the semester, and tie a bow on that. And I'm ready to unplug and not have appointments scheduled. But I write one of these babies every year. so last year, you and I were hustling. Right. Remember, and here I am again. It's a true labor of love this year. I might, at the end of our session today, do a little bit of a preview for the next Get a Clue in 52, which we know is going to be all about Kluby snacks. We're finally putting Kluby snacks in the primary position of importance. As the lead, the lead star of the show is the Kluby snack. Instead of embedding them in flyby coaching videos or embedding them in the chapters of our pages, kind of hiding like Easter eggs throughout my work, we're bringing them to the forefront. And it's just, as we were talking about before we started recording, it's just a labor of love. It's bringing tears to my eyes every time I reread something that we've written, or I read something that Abigail's done, or now we're starting to collect advanced praise testimonials from people that are taking the time to pre-screen the book. Thank you in advance for being a part of that team. If anybody out there wants to get a copy of Kluby Snacks, Bite-Sized and Delicious Motivation, let me know. I'm easy to reach. Contact me if you want to read a copy or browse or skim enough to get a feel for the project and lend a word of constructive or praiseworthy criticism. We'll take it. We're gathering all of that right now, but we've got business at hand, Sue. We are in oh my God, 49. This is the 49th week of the year.
Know.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And what a journey that we've been on, which started, of course, with section 1 in our book, was playing the integrity game. 10 tips that give us structural integrity foundation to build anything we want on, especially a speaking career or advancing our career through public speaking. We still want to know our purpose, our gifts, our potential, our goals, our strategies, our commitment, our learning, all the stuff. The 10 points on the integrity game model serve us so well. Very, very cool. Then now we want to decorate it and get our uniqueness out, right? So now we want to talk about what are our brand promises? What's the attention satiating and keepable promises we make to the marketplace? What are the competitive advantages that allow us to shout those promises from the rooftops, that give us absolute confidence that everybody in the world needs to hear this promise because we differentiate in a certain way, and we want to avoid humiliating humility, right? It's really the time to own our uniqueness and our differentiations and tell the world what's going on. And especially when it comes to prep for giving talks, being a speaker, having a collection of talks you can give, a curriculum to pull from. Like, what do we do in the world? What problems do we solve? We want to know that. We want to be able to embed all of those seeds into our speeches. So ultimately, we got to section 3. And that focused on 8 steps to fearless public speaking. We put 2 mindset tips at the beginning of the section, but really the focus, the epicenter, the center of the book, the midsection, right, is, the core is 8 steps to fearless public speaking. When you master these 8 steps, you'll be able to prepare for any talk, anytime, anything under the sun. You'll be able to prepare if you follow the 8 steps with diligence. And so one of those steps ended up being tip number 27. And that's the 5th step, right? It came out as 27 in our order for the book, but it's so important. We only touched on it strategically in section 3, but it's so important. It got its own section, section 4. So the entirety of section 4 goes cluba diving deep. Deep. Yeah. Thank you very much, Sue. Thank you. Cluba diving. I'm going to say it again because I like hearing you laugh. Cluba diving deep. Thank you. Deep
it's
on
the action.
Yeah. Deep on the fifth step to fearless public speaking, where we break down its elements, its forms, its functions. And there's so much strategy there. And it's all about connecting with the audience as soon as you can and taking the audience with you wherever you go, avoiding the talking at, talking to, talking down to, talking around, talking to your PowerPoint, ignore all the stuff, all the mistakes that you can make if you don't commit to a connection and find ways to keep that connection so that your audience comes with you wherever you are in the speech. So there's some things that make that easy. We went through all of that. And then finally, that takes us to where we are now, which is section 5. The last 12 tips are kind of fun tips for me as we talk about the context that, like, we pan back out, right? We start the foundation and now we peel out to, hey, are you trying to advance in your organization using public speaking? So it's helpful to know what the accountabilities of an organization are, so that if you're using public speaking to advance, all right, or are you building an organization around public speaking? It helps to know what the accountabilities are. Where does public speaking fit in either your career or your business? Where does public speaking fit in your career or your practice? All right, what's going on? So these tips, of course, like so many in the book, are applicable for speakers and non-speakers alike, right? And we like it like that. We like to be versatile and flexible. We need a theme. We need a theme for the book, but hey, spoiler alert, these tips are applicable across the board. Soft skills for strong leaders, soft skills for strong teams. So, Sue, do you want to take us through a review of the 8 tips that we've covered so far in section 5? And I'll go to screen share and I'll show the org chart and we'll do the thing.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah,
Leading up.
let's
Go ahead.
do it.
Take us through it.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, leading on from what you were just summarizing in terms of that question of moving from a practice to a business, tip 41 was asking the question, is it worth it? Is it worth that time, the money, the effort, backwards, forwards, setbacks, failures, all the issues that come with starting a business? And we're in that first position of being the owner or the shareholder, and it's very much around asking the question or paying the fee of feasibility.
Is this worth it? Do I really want to do this? Yeah, keep going.
Yeah. Even though we might not be sure what we're quite up for, but if we say yes, then we move to tip 42, which is the second position on the org chart. We've got to run it. We need a chief operating officer. Now, it might be our initials against that initially.
Yeah.
But from a function point of view, we need someone to run it. And so we've got those 4 areas that come under that role, which is marketing, sales, operations, and finance. So then we moved. Tip 43, position 3 on the org chart, and ask the question, do we have a menu? And this was our first position in the operations department. Is speaking the only thing we offer, or are we offering more than that? And posed, I guess, the point that having more than one thing is really key, and certainly to ask that question. And then we moved out of operations into marketing for tip 44, where we talked about doing the research, bringing the info in. And we looked at customers, assessing the conditions and climate in which we're operating, and asking who's our competition. So we want to do that research. We want to know exactly what it is, the space that we're operating in. And then once we've got all that information, we moved into tip 45, where we've got to get the message out. And we talked about the components of content and delivery. So the content is what we're saying. The delivery is how are we saying it.
Yeah, how or along what channels. It's key. Who are the people that are making decisions for us? Where are they? And what are we doing to get messages where they are that will resonate and have them choose us as the speaker? Absolutely. Keep going, Sue. This is awesome.
Yeah, so they were our 2 tips that we had within the marketing department. And then we moved into, for tip 46, we moved into the sales department, where we've just got the 1 tip. And we highlighted that sales is not a 5-letter word. And no matter whether we say we're a speaker, a coach, consultant, doesn't matter. We have to recognize that we're also a salesperson.
Yeah,
and if we don't like sales, we're in trouble.
Yeah, the only thing I'd add here is like it's a tip. It shows up in our book in the form of a tip. But on this org chart, it's an accountability, right? In other words, whereas in the operations department, we've got 3 accountabilities, or in the finance department that we start talking about today, right? There's 4 accountabilities. And we just said in the marketing department, there's 2. So even though it's a tip in the book, on the org chart, it's an accountability. And that accountability is convert. It's not generate interest. It's not, resolve a complaint. It's not, create a lead or get a phone number. It's get a contract, get a credit card number, get a signature. It's to convert, right? That's the accountability. So if we're afraid of sales, or if we have, like you said, sales is not a 5-letter word, right? If we've got mindset issues around confrontation or behavioral style that doesn't allow us to confront very neatly. Confrontation isn't a bad thing, right? Especially if we know we have the answer, we know we have the solution to somebody's problem. We need to confront them and help them make that decision. But some people want to avoid confrontation, and some people had a bad sales experience before, and I don't want to be salesy. Anyway, so I wanted to put a little Friday mood in here. All right, you're doing great, Sue. All right, so after we convert, we're back in operations. Go ahead, let us have it.
We are back in operations, and we talked here about the R&R game for tip 47, where once we've done the sales, we've converted them, we've got them enrolled, and we've closed the deal. We want so much easier to repeat and refer. Way less energy to be doing that than trying to continually be going out, finding new clients and getting new people enrolled. So
you want to deliver what people paid for in a way that keeps them coming and has them telling everybody about it, right? So repeat and repeat. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then staying in the operations department, we had tip 48, which was knowing our surroundings. And that took on the focus of more of a facility management perspective. So, and I loved, Jeff, you recounting some of your stories of starting out and using the bedroom, Starbucks, your car even, to essentially run your office from.
My favorite is the combo where I'm in the car at the Starbucks, but parked close enough to the Starbucks to still get the Wi-Fi in my car so that I don't have to go into the Starbucks and compete with the competing stimuli inside the Starbucks. So anyway, hey, out of integrity, I will always go in after the session and order a drink for using their Wi-Fi. But there I am. I know what the parking lots are like in the various Starbucks. Like, oh, can't go to that Starbucks, not enough parking close enough to the... That's how. Anyway, keep going, Sue. It's fun memories. Fun memories.
So it was, and it was fun to reflect on some of that. And I think from the perspective too of what's the experience that we're providing for our customers in our surroundings. Are we making it the cost effective for us, but most effective
but the
for
experience for other, not just the clients too. Like basically the idea is everything that we do for our business or for our practice or in our career, it all takes place somewhere, and and we and others have to be in the places that our business activities take place. So who's managing those places? The cleanliness, the decor, the resources, the inventory. Is the coffee fresh? Is the carpet vacuumed? All the details about the where business takes place, and where do our customers, what's their experience, our vendors, our colleagues, our prospects, what do people experience when they're at the where our business takes place. So that takes us right to now we're in my wife's finance department, right? Yeah. And that takes us current to tip number 49, which is the first of 4 accountabilities in what we're calling the finance department. Now, this is basics. I just want to clear up. in ever since I created this 12-point org chart 101 that I use in my coaching, my training, and my keynotes, like I've talked about this on my feed, I've led team buildings, etc. I have another version, especially after I taught organizational communication at San Diego State University. I expanded to a 14-point model to include the accountabilities of compliance, right? So HR and legal. So I have a version of this. I want to let people know that I have a version of this that actually has a fifth department right here, right, which is called compliance. And like, some of finance is part of compliance, right? Because we'll talk about this in 2 weeks when we talk about tax or transactional accounting, just find out what comes in, what goes out, add it all up, figure out what the numbers are and pay the taxes. Compliance, tax, that's transactional versus what we're going to talk about at the very last week of the year. Let me get out of this. I'm clicking around to happy clicking. This is the more strategic, and we're going to make those distinctions. And so right here, this is accounts payable, but it goes hand in hand with what we're going to talk about next week, accounts receivable. And so we could collapse these two into one, collapse these two into one if we wanted, and make room for two more if I wanted to keep it down to 12. But I decided, no, let's keep it and expand and just call it a 14-point model. So I've got a 12 and a 14-point version of this. So this is very, very basic for like basically a practice. I have never had to hire an HR person. I've never, I've had to like retain a lawyer maybe 2 or 3 times in my career. And I've, basically, squashed disputes or won a challenge, right? I've never been taken to court. I've never lost anything legally. You follow? But like only twice have I even had to consult with a lawyer, 2 or 3 times maybe, right? Just to protect myself and keep things in place. So I don't, I'm talking about the very basics here. But when you get the larger organization, 10, 20, 30 employees, definitely over 50, you're going to start talking about HR and legal. At what point does an organization need to retain counsel? How big does an organization need to be? How much revenue do they need to be doing? How much liability? How much exposure do they have? Or they need to retain, pay a salary to retain a lawyer to, in-house counsel versus, piecemealing their situations out? How big do you need to be employees-wise to have a dedicated HR person? Like when you get close to that 50 number, you can imagine that there's got to be somebody from HR on board. So this is really like the sweet spot because, I don't replace HR from all of the compliance-based stuff, but from like training, development, leadership, personal, professional growth, right? A lot of our services can supplement what HR is supposed to be facilitating for people in smaller organizations just don't have it, right? So there you go. Now, having said all of that, let's pan out here. Here we are in tip number 49, which happens to be the 9th accountability in this approach to org chart 101. And Sue, if you're ready, I am too.
Yeah, sorry, I'll lead in with my comment where I've written there that there is definitely a great deal of flexibility needed to make this work, as in the org chart. Even so, I'm imagining myself delivering quality speaking, being noticed, making a difference, and having customers willing to pay for my services. Is there anything else I need to account for to actually make this happen?
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. The next and 9th accountability on org chart 101 takes us out of the operations department, parentheses, you thought we'd never get out, right? And into the finance department for the last 4 accountabilities. This accountability is accounts payable, and this tip is to be strategic about it if you can. If you simply pay for all of your expenses, you'll meet this accountability. Even better, however, if you can maximize cash flow and avoid unnecessary expenses, parentheses, here we go, late fees, interest payments, fines, auto payments for things you're not using anymore, etc., in parentheses. A mature business will usually have an AP clerk handling all the transactional duties to meet this accountability, but a speaking business usually has the speaker doing it, right? Here we go again. If I asked you if you're an accounts payable clerk, you'd say, no, I'm a speaker, damn it. I get it. But if I asked you who pays the bills and expenses in your speaking business, what would you say? If you said, I do, me too. Better yet, if you have a personal or an executive, better yet, if you have a personal or executive assistant who does it for you. Maybe better yet, if your spouse runs your bank account, books, bills, etc. I don't know. What I do know is that I have never taken a class or had any formal training in accounts payable, yet I've always done, still do, 100% of this job in my practice. And I am betting dollars to donuts that most speakers are in the same or similar boat. Maybe once I grow large enough to justify the expense of hiring someone else to do this, I might be tempted to call my practice a business. Once I have policies and procedures, checks and balances, safeguards and standards, strategies and tactics, and resources to maximize the cash flow and minimize wasteful spending, I might be tempted to call it a business. But the truth is, I'm so diluted with meeting the previous accountabilities at a high enough level to eat that I only achieve a bare minimum of effectiveness meeting this accountability. And cue the music. 4 more accountabilities on the chart. 4 more accountabilities. I don't describe my own business as a business. I call it a practice partly because I still do 100% of my own accounts payable. And while I have learned to negotiate good payments terms and have stayed out of debt, I cannot honestly tell you that I audit or strategically improve my own effectiveness in maximizing cash flow or minimizing wasteful spending from an AP perspective. When it comes to this accountability, are you ready, Sue? I love this. When it comes to this accountability, the closest I will get to calling what I have a business is when I use the word debit card after business. Okay. I have a business debit card. That's it. That's as close as I get. I've got a business debit card. As a matter of fact, here it is. No, actually, that's the credit card. I've got both now. Business card. All right. As a matter of fact, my business credit just doubled. They say, congratulations, Mr. Klubeck. You have more purchasing power. We just doubled the amount of... Anyway. It's awesome. Awesome. Anyway, here we go. I'm going to read it again. When it comes to this accountability, the closest I'll get to calling what I have a business is when I use the debit card after business. I love it. It's so funny. I am more certain that I have a business debit card than I am that I have a coaching or speaking business, right? To the music now. Sing it with me, Sue. You nail one down, you pass it around. Your voice is so much better than mine. It's not fair. If you are still not convinced from this tip that acquiring the training and skills of an AP clerk while running a speaking business can be hard and conducting audits that reveal flow and waste issues is even harder, don't worry. The next 3 tips reveal several more reasons why speakers struggle to build what I would personally feel comfortable calling a speaking business. 9 down. Is it worth it? Does it run? What does it sell? What must we know about the marketplace? What does and how does the marketplace know about us? How do we convert prospects to clients? How and how well do we get repeat and referral clients? Where does all of this take place? And what do you, prospects, clients, experience when doing business there? And how are we increasing liquidity and reducing waste when we pay for the things we need? And resume the music. 3 more accountabilities on the chart. 3 more accountabilities. There you have it. There you have it. Next up, we're going to talk about accounts receivable, the kind of like the more fun part of this whole. Would you rather pay or would you rather receive? Yeah, cool. We'd rather receive, right? But how do you like collecting? Oh no, here we go, confronting people again. Yep. Yeah. Anyway, that's a preview for next week, right? You thought sales was confrontational. Imagine collecting from people that have already committed to paying you. All right.
Yes.
Hey, yeah. There we go.
Very good. Very good.
So what do we have? Yeah.
Yeah, there was something that came to mind when I was reflecting on this before we came online. And there's a saying that I've heard many, many times, but I think it's valid for here is what gets measured gets managed.
Mm-hmm.
And so from an accounts payable perspective, even if you're not, I've got the benefit of having a finance background, but even so, at a personal level, I just have a simple spreadsheet that I've set out all of my expected income or what my income is and all my expected expenses.
Mm-hmm.
And helps to, from that cash flow perspective, helps me to project forward for the next few months even. How am I tracking? What am I expecting? And I can adjust. If I've got a little bit of flexibility with any expenditure, I can adjust it slightly and know that I'm still meeting my long-term objective, but from fortnight to fortnight or week to week, whatever the time frame is I'm working with, I've got a pretty good idea of how I'm tracking, and so it lowers the stress levels dramatically
Yeah.
by doing that.
Yeah.
So that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep going.
And then the other thing that I did this week, I got an alert to say that my Lead Pages subscription was up for renewal. And when I saw the invoice, I went, whoa, I don't normally pay that much. What's going on here?
Uh-huh.
And so I didn't automatically pay it. I asked the question, why has it jumped? Because it had jumped categories that were significantly higher. And to their credit, they gave me an explanation of why. So I went back in and reviewed what I had done to date. Strategically, I thought, I want to retain this subscription for the moment, but I also want to buy myself a little bit of space to review, do I need it ongoing? To do that, rather than pay a full annual fee up front, which was a significant amount of money, I was able to convert it to a monthly subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, slightly more in the short term.
Yeah.
But it's given me that opportunity to review, hang on, is there a better way for me to achieve the outcome that I want? Is it still with Lead Pages, or can someone else do that?
Yeah, there's two things there, because number one, you preserve cash flow by not doing the annual, but you also put yourself in a position to identify and eliminate waste. Cash flow and waste. That's when increase cash flow, eliminate waste, right? So that's what we want to do. It's not just pay the bills. It's can we be strategic about it? Can we budget time and sit down, right? Can we say, all right, have I done enough marketing today? Have I done enough sales today? Have I done enough operations today? Have I managed my facilities today? All right, I'm making an appointment with myself to be strategic about my accounts payable, right? And I just being honest about how difficult that is for solopreneurs and speakers and coaches and people in our industry, right? Being transparent about how much of a job a poor job I know I must do, or how much of a good job I know I don't do. Although even I've improved over the years, right? And I'm writing the tips, so I'm aware of a few things. I've got anecdotes just like the one that you've shared where you're strategic about it, right? And it's all about reducing waste and increasing cash flow so that you have the money on hand to make the strategic decisions that you really want to make. But I also like your dashboard idea to have a glimpse, because there's like, when you're making a decision, a spending decision in your business, or an investment in marketing, or you make a decision to whatever, meet a client here or there, and now like these meals add up in terms of the budget when you're out, right? You want to be empowered with the decision. You want to be on solid, certain ground that you know that you're making a good decision. You don't want to just live in the moment and say, oh no, why did I do that? Oh, I'm in trouble. Oh, I should have looked. You want to avoid those things. I've been through all of it. Right?
Yeah, me too.
so yeah, we're a little bit of transparency, lots of honesty in these tips. And that's why, I do 99 bottles of beer on the wall, because, I gotta, I use joviality to soften, the beating of myself up, so to speak. I just know that I'm not meeting these accountabilities at an ideal level. That's okay. I'm doing good enough to get me where I am. I've got a lifestyle business. I got a lot of successes under my belt, but I'm just emphasizing, I don't call my own practice a business, because it would be dishonest knowing how inadequate I am compared to an ideal in terms of how I meet these accountabilities. I meet them like sufficiently, but nowhere near adequate compared to the ideal.
Yeah. And the other thing too, I was just thinking then is the reminder for me, the relationship between this tip that we're looking at today from that.
My dog's barking. I'm sorry. Can you hear my dog barking?
Bueller. That's okay.
Bueller's like, yeah, accounts payable. Roof. Hey, stop it, you guys. Okay, keep going.
The relationship between managing that waste from an expenditure point of view, and say some of the other departments that we've been in previously. So the marketing, say, for example, what is the tool that we're using to make that happen? We might not be an expert in that area, but take the time, if we're truly going to review our expenditure and the waste that we're potentially getting caught up in, take the time to go to an expert and say, look, this is my objective. This is what I'm trying to do here. How can I do it better, more efficiently, less expensive? And
if my only job in my business, was accounts payable, I'd be doing the hell out of it.
Yeah.
But it turns out that I got to do customer service. I got to do marketing. I got to do sales. I got to operate. I got to do facility. I got to do it all. Right. So we do the best we can. And I try to be honest about it. And aspiring speakers, aspiring and emerging speakers, coaches, authors, trainers, this is what it is. This is the job. That's why I'm interested in building community and collaborating with others, because we can't succeed alone. We have to partner with other people. And anyway, we can keep going. I'm going to move us into, believe it or not, last call. I'm tempted to that
was quick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we don't have to go there, but last call. But I'm so tempted to update the world on. I'm going to go back to screen sharing.
I want to hear.
Yeah,
what's your update?
Well, just I'm just going to go through this really fast, but here we go. This got replaced, number 52. So the idea is what we're looking at. This is the draft manuscript, right, of the Kluby snacks. So I'm just a little sneak peek. The foreword by Marianne is the ingredients to the original Kluby snacks. And we've got the introduction drafted, my long-winded introduction, and a preview of the 4 flavors, right? Loving flavored, discipline flavored, ego flavored, and integrity flavored. So a baker's dozen, 13 times 4 equals 52. And then here it is, a little intro to each section, and then the snacks and Abigail's responses to all of the Kluby snacks. I'm going fast on purpose, but you can see the snack at the top and then Abigail's response. And then, of course, when we get to the 13th snack in each section, in this case, vulnerable is not the same thing as threatened. I come back in with my voice and I write the 13th snack in each section. So this is where we're at. We're collecting advanced testimonials. We're sending it out to people that want to do pre-screened reading. I am going to see if I can bring this up real quick. Yes, I can. This is going to be so much fun. I don't know if you're going to be able to handle it, Sue. I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle it, really. Hang on. Let me share screen again. Go window. Okay. So the other night, Abigail, we got into the kitchen. Do you see it? And we started doing the photo shoot with the Kluby snacks. So this is us having, this is replicating what the book cover is going to look like. Right? Can you see my screen here, Sue? Do you see the pictures? Is it coming through?
No, it's not coming up.
Oh, let me try again. Hang on. Let me try again. Let me go present and share and window. And let's see. How about now?
Yep.
Is it? Okay. Yep. So yeah, this is us having, this is you want to talk about us having fun. So there's the 4 big Kluby snacks that represent the 4 sections. And Marianne is so kind to bake the snacks and stop working and take pictures of us, because Abigail and I were 2 peas in a pod. And do you see how fun this is? Oh man, we had so much. I love that one. Right. So here we are, we're working away on our book, eating Kluby snacks, having coffee. The apple doesn't fall too far. We're peering over our screens at a plate of Kluby snacks. Oh, what's that? These are so much fun. Oh, that's adorbs, right? That one's adorable.
I love it.
And then that one's cool too, with the bite taken out of each cookie. We're oh yeah, and it's just I don't know what to say. It's too much fun. So we're the marketing team is starting to put copy together. We're going to have a landing page ready soon where people can advance order or get on the wait list or pre-order the book. It's going to be free plus shipping. We might have an order bump if people want signed copy, right? We might do a thing where we're going to create some money for charity. For $50, we'll do a signed copy and we'll give some money to AIM mental health charity or something like that.
Okay. Nice.
But all the ideas are swirling. That's all the creativity and all of the fun. And I told you, we met with Abigail's kindergarten teacher the other day, and she wrote a testimonial, and I'm reaching out to women I respect, and I want Abigail to be able to look up to strong, powerful, accomplished women, yourself included, and Diane Forster and Lisa Reed, and Abigail's a couple of select teachers that Abigail had coming up, and so it's just coming together in a real labor of love, this project, and I wrote the 50-second snack today, so like everything's drafted. Now we just have to do the about the author page, put together the table the table of contents, the dedications about the author.
So you're right on track.
Just in the course of from when we started writing the book till now, Abigail is 3 for 3 in terms of getting accepted to colleges that she's applied for.
Oh, wow. Congratulations,
yeah.
Abby.
So it's like the whole journey is unfolding right before our eyes. We started writing the book and it's like we didn't know where she'd be going, and now we know that she's got 3 out of 3 of her options, and within the next week or two we're going to find out. By the time the book is published, we'll know where she's going. Or it's all happening really fast now, Sue. And so having this book to like slow us down and to take a deep breath, and the separation anxiety that's impending for my wife and I of having to cut the umbilical cord and see her go off. This is a really healthy way of managing those energies and that emotion. It's a really productive outlet for the good stuff. No stupid fights. Do you know what I'm saying? Just because we're all freaked out. You know what I think? You know what I mean? I've coached people that were watching their children leave and they were so freaked out. Like, what's my identity now? That they create fights just to be engaged with their kids, and they don't even know that they're doing it. You know what I'm saying? And we're blessed with this healthier way to handle these months that are in front of us. And she's just amazing. She's like, I want to say close to 40 of these responses she wrote over the Thanksgiving break. Like in a week's time, she wrote close to 40 of them. And she really took to the project and really she got like a switch flipped inside of her where she was just tenaciously committed. And because she wanted her social schedule, she wanted to see her friends. She's a senior in high school. She wants to do all of these, these things. And but like, hey, Abigail, you said you wanted to do the book, yes or no? Yeah. And now it's like a matter of word, a matter of integrity. It's like, I'm not making you do this. You wanted to do this, and are you serious or not? Right? Because I got to get a book out. So you're in or out? Like, are you going to write all the snacks? Are you just going to write a half dozen per section? And are we going to like, thanks for helping me out, but you're not committed to this, and I'm going to write them all? I need to know what's going on, Abigail. And when the rubber hit the road, a switch flipped for her. And she's really all about this project. She's proudly sharing it with her friends and getting great feedback. And it's just been wonderful for us. She's lit up. Her voice is like more little girlish again, less standoffish. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm seeing all these little subtleties. It's like I've been trying to tell her for years, hey, I'm not the enemy. I'm on your side.
Yeah.
And
we all as parents.
And I think that's clicked more this month than ever, and it's like so healthy. And anyway, so last call as I'm previewing the Kluby Snacks book that's coming out, the 5th in the Get a Klu in 52 series, but this one will have its unique name, Kluby Snacks. We are passing on the family recipe to Abigail for sure.
I love it. And as always, just immense gratitude for the journey that I've been able to experience over this year. I've been online with you every week, reading the check from the book, but I'm equally excited to just see your face light up in this experience with Abby. And
I'm gonna be crying a lot next year. That's the only thing that sucks is like I gotta lean into it. I can't hide it or try to fight it. I'm just gonna be. And maybe that makes good social media. Who knows? Like, look at this 52-year-old man crying his eyes out. Like, oh my God, he must love his daughter a lot. That's what you're going to.
Yeah.
I was joking with Abigail. I'm like, Abigail, it'll be great. We'll do these live streams once a week, and all these people will join on and see us fight with each other. It'll be awesome. They're gonna see anyway. That's the laughing, right? Yeah, but yeah, it's just cool. I don't have to. I'm not gonna. What's weird is Abigail's gonna do most of the reading.
Yeah.
Right. It's just funny to see her ownership. I'm like, hey, you're going to have to show up every week. You're going to have to be consistent once a week. We got to do this. She's like, oh yeah, that's going to be tough because I don't know. And I don't know. And I'm like, I know you don't know. And anyway, but you don't want me to read your tip, do you? Oh, she's like, no, that would be weird. That would be weird. No, Dad, no.
Yeah.
No, I'll be there. I'll make it. So it's just going to be, and it's like, I wasn't like totally intending this, but like one of the fringe benefits is like I get to be FaceTime online with my daughter once a week the year that she moves out, you know, and a lot of parents struggle. Like, I don't see my kid anymore. Ever since they got the driver's license, they're never home. I never see them. And now they're moving out. And a lot of parents are like bitter towards the end because, you know what I mean? I know that feeling. I remember when AJ was getting ready to move out, I'm like, dude, let's watch a movie. Dude, let's hang one night, dude, be home, hang out at home. Like, and, you know, thank God with AJ, I'd already spent so many countless of hours, you know, through baseball. With Abigail, it's totally different, like totally making up for a lot of lost time, you know, in that regard. So there's just so much going on in this project. It's wonderful to share it with you and keep the string alive. But here we are, you know, tip number 49 in our project, Strategic AP, has been read. We've got 3 more tips left, 3 more weeks left in the year. But right now for today's session, last call. Anything else to discuss or joke about?
Nothing else from me today. Yeah. Always fun. Always fun to be online with you. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Thanks, Sue. You've been a great partner this year in getting these public speaking tips that are applicable in other areas of our lives. But you've been a great partner in getting these tips out to the world. Fun making these videos with you. We've got these. Nobody can take them away from us. We can cut them up and repurpose them. And what a valuable experience to go through with you. So thank you for being my co-pilot on the project and the co-author. That's immortalized for us. And thank you in advance for all the support you're going to give Abigail and I. No offense, but she just might be my favorite co-author of all time, Abigail. I can't.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get back to work. All right. Happy Friday, Sue. I love you. And we'll see everybody next week.
Have a great time. See you.
Okay. Bye-bye now.
Bye.